This video is for L05 and it's looking at the importance of a business plan. So let's start by looking at what a business plan actually is. So a business plan is a formal document. It needs to be quite professional when it's being put together, and it's going to outline what your business wants to achieve and how it intends to do so. So the main purpose of a business plan is it's going to help you to be more confident that your plan is realistic. It's going to help you to make some decisions about your business, and it's definitely going to help you to gain support from any possible finance providers. So why do businesses actually plan? What is the purpose of a business plan? So just to help you remember, if you do SORF, S-O-R-F, it is survival, objectives, risks, and finance. And we're going to look at each of those reasons individually. So starting with survival, the first and foremost priority for any business is to survive. There's a number of reasons why businesses fail. Usually it's from having a poor business plan, from having poor finances, or a poor understanding of the market. So many businesses fail due to having a flawed business idea or a badly implemented plan that they've put together. The most common reason for business failure is poor cash management, overspending in certain areas, for example. And also, many businesses fail to understand their customers and what they want, or the kind of strength of their competitors. Objectives. So when planning, a business will think about what it wants to achieve. These targets are called objectives, and an effective business plan is going to help you to keep that business on track to meet its aims. It's also going to help you to set targets for your managers and for your staff. It's also going to help you to identify any issues and possible problems before they might occur. If we look at our risks in our business plan, it can help us identify risks because risk is everywhere in business, but good planning can help you as a business to avoid any unnecessary risks. One way that you can do this is to balance any risks against possible rewards and come up with contingency plans. You can look at possible risks, but also look at the rewards and see if it's actually worth taking. If something goes wrong, can we afford to risk it? Can we afford to make this mistake? And also, what if everything does go as planned? What will be the outcome? What will our rewards be? For finance, poor financial management and running out of money is the most common cause of business failure. So many businesses don't manage their cash flow very well, and this can be easily avoided if you do a good detailed business plan. Sometimes there can be unforeseen events, such as COVID-19 is the most recent one. And as an example, the Arcadia Group has now gone into administration, which has lost 13,000 jobs, 444 shops in the UK and 22 overseas stores. That includes all of these shops like Topshop, Dorothy Perkins, Burton and Miss Selfridge. Now they've gone into administration due to the knock-on effect of COVID-19, and there's no way that they could have planned for that really. Now a financial forecast is part of your business plan, and if you do this well, it should highlight if and when extra cash might be needed, and you can plan for this effectively. So when we are doing a business plan, how can we avoid all of these problems? How can we make sure that everything is included that needs to be? Now, it doesn't necessarily go in this order. Like, for example, you would probably start with your idea for the business and what your objectives and aims are. But just as a little acronym to remember every section of the business plan and make sure that you include all of them, you could remember sip from, like sip from a glass. And that will help you to remember these different sections. So every business plan needs to include a sales plan. It needs to include an idea for the business. It needs to include any predictions and forecasts of what may happen. It needs to include the financial sources. Where are you getting your money from? It needs to have a plan for what research you're going to carry out or what you've actually found. It needs to have your objectives. It needs to have a marketing plan of how you're going to advertise. So let's start by looking at the sales plan. Now, the sales plan should clearly show what your targets are for the business. So how many things, how many products do you expect to sell or need to sell? The target should be set by ensuring that you are meeting your financial forecasts. You've got to make sure that in your sales plan, you've got the right amount of items sold to make sure that you're making a profit. So you should use the sales plan to choose suitable sales methods. You need to think about how you're actually going to sell your products. You need to identify sales tactics. So this could be things that you've looked at before, which could be things like discounts, buy one, get one free, literally any sort of offers that you're going to use. And also the sales plan could be used to motivate and focus your sales staff. If they've got targets that they know they need to meet, then that can help to motivate them. Next, we look at the idea for the business. Now, obviously, this is the first thing that you should do. It's the most important because you need to have a clear idea of what you're going to do. So the business plan needs to basically answer these particular questions. You need to think, what is your actual product or service? Who is your intended audience? How much stock are you going to need? Are there any other related products or services that you could sell? And where are you going to get your suppliers? Where are you going to actually source your parts and materials and things from? So next we look at predictions and forecasts. When you are trying to get money, when you're trying to get capital, you need to have a really detailed prediction and forecast of how much money you think you're going to make. This is a really crucial section and it can actually be very determinant of whether the business survives or not. So if you've ever watched Dragon's Den, you might notice that they ask the person quite regularly how much money they've made and how much they think they're going to make in the future. So your predictions and forecasts needs to include how much you forecast to make as revenue, how much you think that your costs are going to be, whether you think you're going to make a profit or a loss, and what is your break-even point. Now, this has all been covered before in the Learning Outcome 2, so you should be familiar with what these particular terms mean. This all needs to be included in your business plan. So for financial sources, this is where are you actually going to get your money from. So you need to clearly indicate and explain whereabouts you are getting your money from. What is your source of capital? And obviously the numbers that you include in this section need to link to the financial forecast section as well. Researching into the market. Now this is really important. We've done all of this before. We have covered about market research, primary and secondary research as well. Your business plan should explain what you've actually found by carrying out market research. And you need to focus on these three sections. So you need to look at your target market, who is your intended audience, and all of the GALGO. So what is their gender, age, income, lifestyle, geographic location, and occupation. We need to discuss all of that in that particular section. You also need to look into your competitors. Who are your main competition? What are their strengths and weaknesses? And this can allow you to improve your business plan. And also you should look at the actual market. Is it in growth? Is it a shrinking market? Why? Is there any way that you could reverse it if it's shrinking? Or how can we use a growing market to our benefit? So with our objectives and aims, the business plan should outline what the aims and objectives are over short, medium and long-term periods. So you need to outline what your short-term aims are, what your medium are and what your long-term aims are. And looking at this chart at the bottom, we can see that this is spread out over 5 years or more, and it shows you that your short-term aims are what you expect to do in the first year. Now, usually this is going to be to establish and grow a reputation as a new business. We can also look at medium-term aims. Now, this is going to be, obviously, could be within the first year, but more likely going to be over the second, third, and possibly fourth years. And it's going to be to begin to grow and expand, possibly to have multiple branches and to start to grow profits. In the first year, you'll often find that a lot of businesses don't really make any profit. It's just about establishing and growing a reputation. Long-term aims are usually across 5 years or more. And it's when you start to look at becoming a much larger business, when you start to have a bigger impact on society and start looking at more ethical approaches to how you can do things better. The marketing plan is the section that you're going to use in combination with other areas. So you're going to look at your sales plan. Who are you selling to? What are you selling? How are you going to sell it? And you need to look at that and use it in combination with this section. We need to use something called the marketing mix. And the marketing mix is broken down into 4 sections. We've got product, price, place, and promotion. So we need to look at these particular sections. First of all, you need to outline the details of the actual products that you're going to sell. Next, you need to look at what price you're going to charge. Then you're going to look at where customers are going to be able to actually purchase their products. Is it online? Is it in store? Is it in the marketplace? Where is it? And finally, you're going to look at how are you going to make them aware of the products. So when you know what the product is, how much it is, and where it's going to be sold, that will help you to prepare your advertising. So that is an overview of a business plan, why we use them, and all of the sections that need to be included. If you do have any questions, email me and I'll get back to you.